name is Tucker Rhodes, and this is part of my life story. Ever since I was old enough to walk, I've been hunting in the woods or casting along a lake. I've always loved the outdoors, the animals, and spending time on my family's farm. These were activities and passions passed down to me from my grandfathers and father, and I never knew just how much of an impact they would have on my life. People often think of hunting or fishing as a way to casually pass the time or maybe relax a little bit. My experiences had a much deeper meaning than that. Sometimes I'll watch the glint of sunlight catch the mist while peeping out of my deer stand, or feel the cool breeze sweep across an open lake. It just makes me stop and feel God's presence like He's soothing everything on my mind. I never knew that at some point I would have to utilize this feeling to change my perspective about my own life. Around the time I turned 11, I began dealing with the issue of body image after gaining weight. I even took on a clever nickname, which was the combinations of the word fat and my name Tucker. So as the years came and went, I felt more hollowed out and empty. At the time, I was unaware that I was dealing with depression. My family would always say I had an old soul, which I thought of as a compliment until I began to associate it with not enjoying regular day-to-day life. This, alongside a lot of turmoil happening in my family, left very little opportunity for me to recoup my enjoyment of hunting or fishing. So I turned to what I thought was the next best thing, which was drugs. From 15 to 16, I began to do more and more drugs and alcohol as a way of suppressing the dark thoughts I was dealing with. This seemed to work until it reached a tipping point, and I began experiencing suicidal thoughts anytime I was sober. I felt empty and like I had no other choice but to try to put an end to the dark thoughts I was having. Fast forward a few days and I received a text from my dad, which had become increasingly rare as I got to see him less. My dad asked if I had any plans for spring break and if I wanted to spend the week hunting and fishing with him. So I told myself I'd give me and my dad one last good trip before I finally ended the depression for good. This trip gave me the outlook I now have on the outdoors and on my faith. I began for the first time in my life to truly feel God's presence and grace, all while doing the things I love to do. Since then, I began setting aside time for the outdoors and for God, just like I'd set aside time for schoolwork, the gym, and anything else I do. I'm grateful to be surrounded by family and friends who love me and encourage me to be the best I can be. I'm also grateful to have the opportunity to share my love of the outdoors with others, especially my nephew. Through God's mercy and Him reaching me through my passion for the outdoors, I completely turned my life around. I quit drugs. I lost over 125 pounds, and it gave me a completely new outlook on my life and what it meant. I truly encourage anybody that's struggling with mental health to make time for what you love to do even when you don't feel like it. And most importantly, be open to God. He's the only source of eternal peace we can have. You might not always feel like it, but if you just open up and let God in, He can work miracles in your life that you never thought possible.